Talmor, Shishin Magachi. Talmor is my home. My family have worked the land for generations. My gran says the island does not belong to us, but we belong to the island. And we must be ready, for a great evil is coming, and death follows with it.
Listen and subscribe to the latest season of Undertow, The Harrowing, a Storyglass production presented by Realm, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
And now, stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast.
ECCW, Elite Canadian Championship Wrestling, has been around since 1996, over 25 years. By 2014, they had become Canada's largest wrestling promotion. You need to watch the documentary This Wrestling Life. That will give you an idea of what ECCW is all about. Back in the early 2000s, they invited me to be a guest ring announcer at one of their shows at the Russian Community Hall in Kitsilano in Vancouver. The wrestlers broke a chair over my back that night. All in all, it was a really fun night. Happy that I got invited to be part of the ECCW. Any wrestling fan will love the full chat with their owner and all-around badass Scotty Mack, one of the most decorated wrestlers, won multiple titles multiple times. And when Scotty was a guest of the podcast, he talked about binge-watching Lunatics on Netflix, his first wrestling memories, including Hulk Hogan and King Kong Bundy. We talked about legalized marijuana, microdosing mushrooms. The Egyptian pyramids came up. So did BoJack Horseman, concussions, seeing Weezer and Beck in concert. And stop me if you've heard this before, Scotty Mack talked about auditioning to be on Big Brother Canada.
My wife Christina and I really into Big Brother Canada.
Okay.
A good friend of mine, Peter Brown, he works for ECCW. He was on Big Brother Canada.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of cool being a Big Brother fan and getting the insight from him on what it's like being in the house.
Yeah, imagine that. I don't know if I could do it.
I mean,
I could do it obviously,
yeah.
But it would drive me. It would drive me crazy, man.
Yeah,
it would drive me crazy.
I really, being such a big fan and being that I thought I would be quite good at it. I did audition a couple times for it, and I made it pretty far in one of the auditions. The final cut was the top 60 go to Toronto, and I didn't make it to that final cut in Toronto. But I thought with the wrestling and all that I would have a good chance getting in.
Right, good background, good story.
Yeah. And people would want to watch, and but didn't quite get on there. And now
would you be pushing buttons? Would you be the one to would you be shit disturber, or how would you play it?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have likely had some sort of showmance. I think it's hard for me to it was always hard for me to resist beautiful women. And I'm a happily married man now, and that's one of the reasons why that it's not as appealing, as I don't think I'd be able to use as many tools in my arsenal
Your tool belt suddenly shrank a little bit.
That's right.
Stop Me If You've Heard This Before on the Toddcast podcast is powered by FKP MMA, Vancouver's #1 training destination at fkpmma.com.
GZM Shows and the creators of 6 Minutes are rolling out their newest audio adventure with the podcast Discovering Dad. A cautious single dad with a secret past and his rebellious kids embark on a thrilling quest complete with hidden treasure, villains, and a family curse. New episodes of Discovering Dad roll out weekly starting June 11th on Apple Podcasts. Follow the show so you never miss an episode, or listen early and ad-free as a GZM Show subscriber. Go to gzmshows.com to learn more.
Hey there, it's Rachel Ballinger, and I am extremely excited to invite you to Rachel Uncensored. It's my podcast where I sit down and get real with my friends and celebrity guests, where we talk about all sorts of topics. And sometimes we might be under the influence when we do so. We cover things from personal stories to hot button issues. And it's the only place on the internet you can find an uncensored version of me. It's a side of me that you might not have seen before because it's not the most family or brand friendly. But don't worry, I'm still sort of slightly a decent human being. If you're intrigued, then make sure you check it out. New episodes drop every Wednesday. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on the fun and candid conversations we have here on Rachel Uncensored.